All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Houston Rockets Daily. The Houston Rockets are back in the winning circle thanks to last night's 105 to 103 victory over the New York Knicks tape. And they end on a funky buzzer beater, Jalen Brunson foul. Whether or not it was a foul, it literally doesn't matter. This isn't. I mean, this is just the NBA, dude. They call so many goddamn fouls every freaking game, all freaking game. But actually, for some reason, the last like week or so, it's become almost unwatchable to me because I like the flow of a sporting game. And for calling a damn foul every 35 seconds, it disrupts the flow, baby. But people do be fouling. All right. So Jalen Green, that whole last 2 minutes was weird. I There's no purpose to this video here. Um, I just watched, I keep rewatching the final like 2 minutes of yesterday's game, and it's just so fascinating to me. Obviously, we're without Fred, we're without Cam Whitmore, we're without Tari Eason, we're without all these critical players, and specifically Fred, our starting point guard. Amen's done a phenomenal job. We've talked about Amen so much on the show, which, by the way, check out the link down below. Let's talk Rockets. We're like 15 plays away from 500. We do it every day or two. Thank you guys for the love there. But I just want more oomph on the offensive side. And I have to take it with a grain of salt because I know we're missing critical playmakers. Uh, they tried in the last 8 minutes of the 8 seconds of the game, they try and draw something up. They try and draw a switch on Elper and Şengün. So Jalen Green goes and sets a screen on Precious Achua, who was on Elper and Şengün, and they end up doubling Elp, right? And so then you got Jalen Green just kind of wide open down below in the paint. And I think who was it? Was it Aaron Holiday who just kind of whips that ball across half court and finds Jalen Green, and Jalen goes up for a layup. Now, the whole point of this is I need more offense from the Houston Rockets. And when I first saw like the way that game ended on like Twitter or whatever, where Jalen Green gets blocked by Precious Achua with it's all tied up in the fourth quarter, and then uh, Aaron Holiday. I feel like I keep getting Amen and Aaron mixed up just because they have A names. Anyways, you get it, right? The block and gets spurted out. So I'm like thinking to myself, like, oh, you know what? All right, Jalen Green, who was 4 of 15 or 4 of 14 from the field prior to that layup, that blocked layup, who was 0 of 6 from downtown. Like, I like it. Keep shooting from the hip, baby. Like, offense is a statement. When you play offense, you make people play defense. And I just want Jalen, our number 2 draft pick from 2021 in his third season, with less than 30 games to play, I want him to establish himself as that dude on this roster and say, get out the goddamn way and give me the freaking basketball. And that's not what it was in the final 2 minutes. And so I'm like trying to ponder here, is Ime got him on a short leash? Because I also love the idea of, like the Rockets do a lot of the time, run the offense through Elper and Şengün, yada, yada, yada. But I want Jalen Green to quite literally impose his will on defense, right? I don't like the adage of defense wins championships. And I think it's important for Houston to defensively set the culture. But I don't think we live in an era where defense wins championships anymore. I'm looking at these stats from last night, guys. Dylan Brooks made 6 threes. There were 3 players on the Houston Rockets who played basketball last night. 9 players played basketball for the Houston Rockets wearing a Rockets jersey last night, and 3 of them made a three-point shot. And it's honestly like not even from a lack of trying. Like Jalen Green 0-6 obviously doesn't help. But I have the stat right here. The Rockets are 15th in three-pointers attempted. We're 20th in three-pointers made. We're 26th in three-point percent. So I get it, right? Like I'm trying to be, and I am being patient about it, but eventually, guys, your offense has to become your defense. Like that's just bottom line there. But I get it. We were one of the worst teams in the NBA in the last 3 seasons, and we need to get an identity, and we need to craft an identity. But I need more points. Shout out to Aaron Holiday for 18 points last night because Jayshawn Tate was the only other bench player who had a point, and he had 2. we're super shorthanded, and I get it. And I don't want to make these stupid shoot yourself in the foot moves at the trade deadline where you're acquiring, long-term contracts or you're giving up valuable assets. And so I get it. It's trying to be patient with it because it's not the end of the world. But not having Fred as far as three-point shooting goes is absolutely huge. Um, but yeah, offense becomes your defense. And I just, kind of going with that Jalen Green thing. Like, I want Jalen Green in the last 2 minutes of a basketball game to be like, I don't care what you may. I mean, that's the thing. He's a 22-year-old player with a new head coach who has a specific game plan, right? That final play is drawn up for Alperen Şengün. But I want Jalen Green once again in these last 30 games to be like, fuck it. Give me goddamn basketball, right? Defense wins championships. I think it's a good stepping stone. But I'm very curious, and I know, like, last night, now we're 24 and 29, and we're falling out of the plan because Golden State's figuring it out, and they're going to continue to figure it out, folks, because Golden State is not going anywhere. But when you're a defensive-minded team, your game plan is strategizing how to react to someone else's plan. And I want the Rockets to just impose their will, very similar to the Indiana Pacers. And that's the rant. And that's really it. And once again, we're missing so many pieces, and Cam Whitmore off the bench for these last 30 or so games is going to be so critical. It's going to be so important for us because outside of him, Aaron Holiday is not a known scorer. He can score when need be. He can put the ball in the rim when he needs to. But he's not, like a Colin Sexton or a player like that. And Cam Whitmore's just the perfect bench piece for us, in my opinion. I want to see Jabari get more involved offensively. 13 shots last night, but I think Jabari, third pick in the draft a couple of years ago, I think he's still one of those players that has we don't even really know what these guys' ceilings are. And so I'm glad the Rockets didn't make any stupid moves. But in these last games, these last, couple of months of the season, I want them to go guns blazing, offensively wise. I want Jalen Green to die on his own sword. I want him to take command, to take control. And I don't mean this to nitpick Jalen Green because I think he has a very bright future still in the NBA, even if he has inefficient nights, because shooters shoot, scorers are going to have off nights. So this has nothing to do with like, no, Jalen Green doesn't have it. There's such a weird discourse in the Houston Rockets community in general because you have these like Jalen Green haters, and then you have like these Şengün fans who are, from Turkey and, are just more Şengün fans than, Rocket fans, which is perfectly fine. But, like we're still trying to mold and craft our identity. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So kind of a rant. I wanted to do this on a live stream, but I'm trying to get this channel popping again so we can get more bodies in the show and the podcast. The link's always going to be down below in the description of this, or you could type in Let's Talk Rockets, Jackson Elstro, something like that on Spotify or Apple. Like I said, we're like 15 plays away from reaching 500. So go drop it a follow if you can. Go drop a listen, and we'll probably be back at it tomorrow, maybe later today. Got a tight afternoon, but we'll see you guys soon. Thank you for watching. Give me your thoughts on this video or the Rockets or whatever. That's the point of social media. So yeah, we'll catch you on the flip, man.